Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored.
Back, baby.
We are coming in hot, coming off of another podcast recording, and we are.
Yes, we are.
we had someone on that had just a tiny little bit of energy, so we might be a little amped up today, but that's okay because this is the place where you get insight, actionable ideas, insight, inspiration, turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We're going to be talking about whatever we feel like talking about today because we have no guests on this particular podcast.
We deserve it.
That's right. We have a little me time.
Yeah, zero downtime. We literally got up at 2:58. You went back, you got the new link put up, you brought it back in. I'm so glad that I've been proactive, Matt. I've been making lists. Aren't you proud of me? These are my shout outs as they happen. I have learned.
Good.
To show prep.
I'm so glad. Well, while we wait for people to join us live, which we thank you for doing, if you're watching the replay here on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, get our latest videos and the latest podcasts, and then subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher to get the audio edition just nestled right here between your ears where we so belong.
Nestled so deep.
That's right.
So deep and good. Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't even know what to say to that, but people seem to like it, so feel free to keep doing that, Greg, even though it creeps me the hell out. Creepy.
All right.
The junior grandmaster himself, Greg, has inserted himself into this, as he often does.
I can't hold back, Matt. I had so much fun. I have so much love to give and knowledge to share. How could I ever stop? Why would you hinder me? Why would you hold me back and not let me be all that I can be, Matthew?
I know. Well, if people want more of you and they want to find out what viral marketing does for you, they can go to gregsmarketingexamples.com, and you have a video there where you talk more about what they do to help you generate referrals and repeat business. So just want to thank them because they help make the podcast and Hangouts happen. They are gracious enough to help support the show. And then homing in, we've had the co-hosts and co-founders, I should say, as guests on the show before. Go check them out and download the app because there's sellers that are requesting home valuations from agents like you. The app is free to download for both sides, and essentially there's potentially free seller leads out there waiting for you, so go download that. But I love just making you shut up and not be able to talk for the first 2 minutes of the show.
God damn it! You shall never shut me up, Matt. I may be not on camera, but I will not be silenced.
That's true, unless I mute you. Just remember, I have that power.
Thank you, God.
If only I had that power in real life.
Then your life would be so much less. Actually, I talked about it on the last show. I got a homing in app lead when we were on the air. I gave him an evaluation. I sent it over to him digitally. Haven't heard anything back yet. But then I'm like, fuck it, dude. So I went over and I just I dropped by. It's a retirement home, and the house is a dog poo, and it's next to the freeway, and then on the busy road. Yay. So
you're going to take that listing right away?
Absolutely, I won't. I'll take anything, man. As I've been referred to, I'm a real estate whore, man. I will take a listing almost anywhere, but I'm not gonna discriminate against the houses that might need a little bit of work. Kind of like, never mind. I'm gonna shut up before I just piss off a lot of people.
All right. So we've got a lot of different directions we can go. We just came off of a podcast, and we'll tell you guys. Do you want to make should we make the announcement of the new podcast and just let people know what's going on?
I think we should, man. I think it's a lot of value. Actually, I pitched the Grandmaster on it yesterday, and he's like, I love that idea.
Okay, good. All right, so here's the deal, guys. So we are collaborating on a new podcast. Me and Greg are together. It's called the Pursuing Results Podcast, and if you know, like, that's my branding for the podcasting service and all that stuff. But anyway, the podcast, me and Greg are interviewing successful people from any walk of life on one book that has changed their life. So we just came off of an interview with a guy that helped grow a mortgage company from 175 million to almost $1 billion in volume in a course of a year. And we're talking about a phenomenal book that really changed his life and led him to more of a relationship and trust-based selling. And we got into, went deep on the mindset and how scripts fit into that and all this stuff. So you'll see these interviews when we launch the show in probably July. The interviews that we are recording now will start to come out, and it's basically it's a kind of it's similar to Real Estate Uncensored. We do try to tone it down on the language. I try to rein in Greg a little bit more.
I've been pretty damn good, dude.
You've been pretty good. You have been good.
Pretty good.
Yes,
I don't think it's been
good.
I don't think I've dropped one F-bomb yet.
I don't know that you have either, but yeah, so you've been good. You've been pretty tame. But other than that, it's very much like Real Estate Uncensored, but it's successful people from any industry, and we're focusing on life-changing books. So it's a really cool podcast that if you have friends and family that you know that they would like Real Estate Uncensored, but they're not in real estate, we actually have people that recommend the show to their friends who aren't in real estate just because of the personality and the banter and stuff like that. Well, this show is your answer to that, because it's me and Greg, but we're not talking about real estate. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be super in-depth content, and it's good for anybody that's interested not just in books but just success in general, especially if they're the type like Greg, like you're dyslexic. You don't want to sit down and read a book. Like I love to sit down with a physical book. Greg, you love to listen to Audible in traffic. So if they're for anybody that's like either one of us, but especially if you have people in your life that want to succeed, they want to do better, you've got people that are, that you feel like you want to help, this podcast will genuinely help them and give them information they might never run across if they hadn't listened to something that they can just consume in their ears without having to sit down with a book.
Yeah, and it's actually a lot of fun. Like we talked about, it's our same energy and banter back and forth, minus F-bombs. And I agree with, the people we're talking with, these guys are high level men and women, and they don't need to hear Greg go fuck. Okay. Yeah. We need to have an adult conversation.
That's right. We'll save Greg's rants for the Real Estate Uncensored.
Yeah,
which is the whole point of why we call it the show, to be that to begin with.
Exactly, but it is a lot of fun to talk to these people, guys. You're gonna love these interviews. These people are so smart. I mean, you're gonna be left at the end. I know personally that I'm left at the end of the interviews, like Scott we just did. I was left going, wait, why do we have to end it now? Like internally going, I don't want to end it now.
I know, you legitimately wish that every interview was about 2 hours long, because you're learning so much. There's like, who cares about whoever listens to this? I have some more selfish questions to ask.
Yeah. So explain to me how you went from 100 and change million to $1 billion. Exactly. Detail. I got my pen out.
I want steps. Exactly.
Steps and guidelines and booklets and worksheets. Yes.
Yes. So that's the deal. That's the new show. That's the new podcast. It's called the Pursuing Results Podcast. So we have some under the belt, and we're going to continue. And at some point, we will kind of flip the switch, and we will start broadcasting them live. Right now, we're just recording them behind the scenes, and then releasing them when the show launches. But we'll flip that switch at some point. We'll broadcast 3 days a week live on Google Hangouts, just like we do with this show, so that you can see these live if you like. So that, more on that to come. We'll set that aside. But what do you say, Greg? I would like to continue some of the conversation that we started with Scott and bring it into the real estate realm specifically. Sure. We can talk about a few things, but here's my ideas for the show today. What I'd like to talk about is shifting your mindset in 2 ways. Number one, from transactions to relationships, and number two, from short-term to long-term, because those are very much intertwined, right? It's very, 100%. Very difficult to try to teach someone to switch away from a transaction mindset to a relationship mindset if they don't understand the switch from short to long-term thinking. And the problem with what's going on, if you're paying attention to kind of what's going on in marketing and sales, what's happening is the cycle is going like this. It's lengthening. There's more steps to it, right? So Greg, when you were first in the business, I mean, the training was get on phone, call prospect, figure out if they have a need, close them.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. The ABCs always be closing. Never do the always be closing. That is horribly disturbing, disgusting, and repulsive. You terrible, terrible human being if you're doing that. There's a special place in hell for you.
That's
okay.
Right.
So with the jesting here, but in actuality, it is cliched as is. You don't like to be closed. So why are you closing other people? Why don't you open them? We've said this so many times. Bring more value to them than they can ever possibly imagine. When we were talking with Scott, we were talking about the exact same thing. It has to be a mutual interview. I mean, you were interviewing them to see if they are a right fit for you, and if they're a right fit right back for you. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that right, but you know what I mean.
And some people take that. This goes back to mindset. But when you tell some people that, then they go overboard and they internalize it as an arrogance thing. Is, well, I'm interviewing you. No, it's you're trying to figure out if there's a fit. That's it.
Yeah, and it's not like, well, I need 10 out of 10 to fit for this to work. It's like, no, this isn't a dating relationship, you dipshit. This is a business relationship. Everybody's going to have some flaws, and if you can't see Matt, he was totally just shaking his head like, gosh damn it, Greg. But there it is.
I was thinking actually it's very similar to a romantic relationship, but okay.
Sweet, I finally did something right in your mind. No, but it really is. I mean, how many times, everyone who's listening to my voice right now, and you're welcome. What are your other two wishes? You know, how many times have you worked with that dick of a client or that
Right.
absolute bitch that just they are so full of themselves and they're arrogant and they walk around like a peacock and their shit don't stink and everything else, and they step on you and talk down to you and you just take it on the chin because in your mind you seem to think that you have to. Well, guys, reality fact is that when we went back last week and met with Aaron showed the fact that he didn't take his first listing because the guy, it wasn't a good fit. You've got to have the nerve. Whoops, I just missed the entire desk there. But you know,
For those of you that are listening to the audio version, Greg just about fell because he went to go lean his elbow on a desk and missed his own desk.
It wasn't me. That wasn't planned. That was me just being a klutz. Now you got me off track, damn. So you have to have the nerve and the self-confidence to legitimately walk away from someone if they're going to be a time sucker and an ask hole. You know, if someone's an ask hole, you know, they're going to ask, and not do anything with it. And that goes in, you know, partners in the office, people you might want to work with or JV with, your clients, like, what should I do? How should I do this? When should I do that? And then they don't do anything. They keep asking the same dipshit, dumbass questions over and over and over and over and over again. Guys, what you bring to this business is two things. Okay? It's really simple. Your time and your knowledge. And if you waste your time and your knowledge on an asshole, then you're never going to be able to work with the people that truly respect you for the professional that you are in this industry. Do not let someone demean you because you're young, female, black, new, old, whatever thing that someone might be looking down on you for. Don't let anyone ever do that. You are a professional, you're knowledgeable, you bring tremendous value, and take that persona and own it and run with it and be willing to walk away from a dipshit.
That's right.
I'm done.
Well, Greg, if you could stop looking down on me because I identify as a older black woman, that'd be great. You're a closet racist. That's what I have to say about that.
Oh,
Let's set that conversation aside. We'll put a pin in that and come back to the whole mindset stuff. But there was a question on lead gen scripts and objections that came up here that I'd like us to deal with because it's really easy for you. It's right in your wheelhouse. So Dave Broom asks, does anyone have a great just sold script for a virtual assistant that gets results? And this is exactly what you're doing with your ISA, who's making calls into your area, and this is kind of your wheelhouse because you're also making those calls. People can follow you on Facebook and get your live prospecting sessions. So, Greg, what would you say is a good just sold script for a virtual assistant?
Let me formulate it really quickly. It'd be something along these lines. I'll tell you. So, I'm Matt Johnson, working for the McDaniel Callahan team. Hi, my name is Matt Johnson. I work with the McDaniel Callahan real estate team here in the area. You know, the reason why I'm calling today is I'm doing a couple of quick cold calls, and I'm letting you know some good news. One of the neighbors over at 3692 Maple Street actually just closed, and they closed 2 days ago, and congratulations. They sold for $18,000 over their listing price. So I'm the bearer of good news. I wanted to quickly call and just let you know that, yes, prices are still going up. Yes, the area you're in is still very attractive. And so I wanted to just see if there's any, well, I actually just wanted to see if there's any questions you may have about the market, or maybe about the home itself, or maybe if you might be thinking of making a move. Now, that's my script, and I would see what it is. I told them what I was doing. It takes all the fight out of the dog when you actually tell them you're doing cold calling scripts. I mean, I stumbled and tripped and fell onto that little nugget of goodness because I got so tired of being yelled at. I said, look, I'm just doing some cold calls, man. And it was just like, bam, shut off, fight gone, no arguments. They knew what they were in for now. And no one's ever hung up on me. It's the weirdest thing, but it's your tonality. You know, I noticed how I did not put, hey, you were thinking about selling? You know how that was the last one? I was bringing value. I wanted to tell them something amazing in their neighborhood. It sold for $18,000 over the list price. Of course, pick whatever the number is actually in your marketplace. Go into your MLS, go back maybe 2 or 3 days or whatever, the least amount you can go back and find the biggest win. You know, when it comes to list price versus sales price in the shortest amount of time on the marketplace. Then go out and use Mojo or Vulcan 7 or whatever you want and do calls into that neighborhood. And then just bring value. 18,000 over. That makes them feel good to the fact that I picked a good area, and I reaffirm that to them when I said your area is a very hot area to live in. Then I asked them, would you like me to give you value about the market, or would you like to give me for me to give you value about the home, and then or would you be interested maybe considering finding out the value of your home is. I never once said, are you thinking of selling? I said, would you like to know the value of your home? Would you like to take a potential advantage of the pricing in the marketplace? It's those small, subtle words. And if Matt's calling around for the McDaniel Callahan team, instead of saying, I'll send an agent out, just say, you know what? I'll have one, because we have 3 guys. It's me, Terry, and Chris. And, I'll have one of the guys, we'll book one of the guys to come on. Now, do you have a preference on which one you'd like to meet with? So you're giving them option. That's something I worked with Chuck on today, and we changed our verbiage slightly on that. So we'll see what his responses were.
Interesting.
But
okay,
that's what I would do.
All right. Yeah, I like it. And you talk about the changes in phrasing, right? So are you thinking about making a move versus are you interested in finding out your home value? That's another one of those little tweaks that is evidence of the kind of marketing or the sales cycle getting longer, right? So rather than saying, hey, are you thinking about selling? Nope. All right, move on to the next one. Hey, are you thinking about selling? Nope. All right, move on to the next one. Which is, the real estate industry has been inundated with that approach for a very long time, which is if you're not making a move in the next 3 months, you do not count. You are barely human, and if we stay on the line for 3 seconds longer than I absolutely have to, I will jump off a bridge. So we're getting back to the fact that the sales cycle is getting longer is forcing people back into, at least if they want to be successful, it's forcing them back into more of a relationship building mode, which is probably where we should have been the whole time.
Yeah.
We kind of detoured for a while into just throw enough mud against the wall and something will stick, and that's my income for this month. But so let's get back to the relationship building part of it, because that little phrasing tweak, when you talk about getting away from, hey, are you looking to make a move? Are you looking to sell your home over to a home value, right? That's evidence that the sales cycle is getting longer. You're asking them a question that is further upstream from them making a decision on whether they want to move. Now you're just trying to gauge their interest on, are you even curious about what your home is worth, so that you can get the information that you need to decide whether you want to make a move, right? So it's farther upstream. And the people that are, like we joked around about this, I don't remember if we covered this on the show, Greg, or if we were just talking about it when we met up in person. But
I don't know. We joke a lot.
Okay. So I came across a question. I was in the airport. I was in the TSA line. And I came across a question that was posted to one of the Facebook groups. I think it was Jamie Cox's Facebook group, Realtor Lead Generation.
Oh, that was just us just riffing. This is not online.
I don't think we've mentioned it. Okay.
No, we haven't. This is hilarious.
Oh, that was so great. I wish I could find the original post, but the poor woman may have deleted it out of shame. But this woman said, she's like, do you have any ideas for generating buyer and seller leads that are ready to make a move in the next few months? I don't have time to nurture internet leads. I'm too busy.
Yeah, that was classic.
And she got reamed. Somebody had the best response, and I wish I had the quote here, but effectively he said, ma'am, you need to consider leaving the business immediately.
And I think you should be looking into a waitress position, or wearing an apron and being a waitress, because you're always going to have on-demand clients and you want to nurture them.
Exactly.
And we're just like,
all you need is an apron.
Snap. Damn.
It was great.
Bitch slap.
And somebody else in the comments pointed out, as I would have done if somebody hadn't already said it, which is that if you can figure out how to generate only leads from people that are really serious and ready to make a move in the next 3 months, guess what? Those are worth their weight in gold, and you will pay for them practically in gold.
You'll pay for them with your kidney.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Somebody will charge you. If somebody can figure out how to build that, you know what it's worth? 75% of the transaction.
Matt? We know our next business venture.
Yeah, right.
Like we were talking about in the airport.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll see. That is the holy grail, is just being able to hand somebody an appointment with someone that's serious about making a move. But yeah, so the issue was, she doesn't have time to nurture relationships with people, and we know from Jeff Cohn, from his team of 30 agents making hundreds and thousands of calls, literally over 100,000 calls last year. They know statistically the average internet lead, no matter where it comes from, closes in 5 to 6 months, right?
Oh, that's short.
Everybody that works the internet leads and then declares that they suck after 6 weeks, too bad, you lost.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck do you think was going to happen? Yeah. Oh, it's just going to rain down perfectly? Well, no, you dickhead. You got to go out there and fucking work. You know, this is not the easy button game. I win. You don't get a trophy just for showing up.
You're building relationships. Building relationships is not that hard work. It's like Chris Smith said.
For you, it might be.
Commit to 10x.
I'm good at it.
10x lead conversion. What you're really committed to is 10x follow up.
Yes.
It doesn't mean bugging the crap out of somebody. It just means finding some different ways to bring value to people and build genuine relationships.
Well, I mean, here's an example, Matt. Yesterday I was on Facebook Live and I was doing some follow-up calls, right? And there was a guy, his name is Tim. He told me he was a callback from a voicemail I had left for him. And he said, yeah, man, I'm going to be selling it near the end of 2018. Well, we put him on Corfax, monthly drip campaign on getting the value, right? Out of 5-star rating, homeboy was a 3.5. Dude, that's a lot of checking your updates and values. So I called him yesterday. I'm like, Tim, man, what's going on? How's life? Hey, cut to the chase. I want to let you know I got into the back end of one of my programs here, and I saw that you were pretty active in checking the value of your home. Are you interested in maybe taking advantage of the pricing in today's market? He's like, yeah, I like your site and blah, 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 but I would like to get some real hard numbers. I'm like, perfect. When can I come out? He's like, how's Friday? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And it is because you followed up. Everyone has a back end, everyone has a system, but if you're not persistent and consistent with your follow-up, guys, it's not going to make a difference. If you really suck balls on a hot day when it comes to follow-up, go over and get Contactually. Contactually costs a couple of bucks a month. Put the different people in the different buckets or the different list. They will literally email you every day, 5, 10, or 15 people to send an email out to or reach out to. You have no excuse at that point. No excuse at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's a good way to do it. I know a guy that was just singing the praises of Contactually here just like last week and saying, dude, you need to get this for your business, your podcasting business. So, yeah, it's a really good system. If you can just take some of the mental effort off of yourself. Let's get the camera refocused. There we go. All right. It's like out of focus for some reason. But yeah, if you can take the mental effort off of yourself, a lot of people struggle with that. Like, how do I keep track of it? And if you haven't heard this little anecdote before, allow me to remind you, and I wouldn't have known this either if I hadn't just heard this on an interview, but Michael Mayer himself, the author of the 7 Levels of Communication, pointed out that he, how he manages his callbacks, like who to call every day? Google Calendar.
That's how I do it.
It's insane. Like, he just puts his people up at the top, like as an all-day appointment, and it's like 5 or 10 people a day, or whatever it is. But he just has it at the beginning of every day. Goes to his Google Calendar. That tells him who he needs to call that day. It doesn't have to be complicated or super in-depth, and you don't even necessarily need like a CRM software to do it, although that will potentially make it easier for you. But really what it comes down to is the mentality. It's that systematic thinking, and it's long-term thinking, which is what I wanted to kind of get into, because the whole, me, right, we've talked about mindset before, and we have different approaches on like how to solve the mindset issue, but this is one of those things where I feel like you can attack it directly, which is the whole like short-term versus long-term thinking and abundance versus scarcity thinking. A lot of those are the same thing. It's kind of the same mindset. Yeah. And a lot of people get tripped up because they have a scarcity and a short-term mindset, and the most successful people have an abundance and a long-term mindset, right? Well, once you know that, then in certain situations you can ask yourself, okay, yeah, I may not naturally have an abundance or a long-term mindset, but I can at least fake it, and I can make decisions, and I can look at what other successful people do and imitate them until I get enough success that becomes my default mindset.
Yeah.
That's one of the rare areas I think that actually works.
But also, confidence is a very attractive attribute about a human being. And I had a call with a gentleman who was a chef and still is a chef, and he was all down on the dumps because of an incident that took place, and he was legitimately screwed over in this instance. And so I started going back into his past with it when he's a chef for 15 years, and I said, yeah, you might be all down in the dumps right now. Smile. Damn it. Smile. There you go. Hey, all right. You guys can't see me. Matt's doing a snap, and I just went crazy, as you saw. But what I'm talking about is I said, so and so. Think back when you're chefing 100% of the time. Think back when a couple would come back into the kitchen, grab your hand, and thank you for making their anniversary the most beautiful thing ever. Or a couple gets engaged and you made the most perfect dessert that the woman wanted, and it was a beautiful thing, and they called you out to the table and made you feel good in public. And he's like, yeah, man, that happened a lot. I'm like, so what the fuck is your problem about having your mindset all foobarred about what's going on in today's in your real estate thing? You've got to get in a mindset of gratitude. Once you're thankful that someone treated you a certain way in a past instance or a current instance, and then you have a negative thing and it brings you down, dude, people will concentrate on negativity 10 times more than they will on positive.
Right.
That's why the news agencies only sell doom and gloom. When's the last time you ever heard, hey, it's National Hug Day? Okay, shit doesn't happen. It's rainbows and unicorns, everybody, and there's no traffic, and your boss is giving you a raise, and your spouse isn't deeply in love with you, and your kids think you walk on water. No shit, man. They don't ever tell you that. They tell you all the negative things in life. So do yourself a favor, go back, remember those amazing instances in your life where you've radically transformed someone else's life, where you've done something that you've accomplished something that everybody may or may not have said that you couldn't do. And remember how valuable and how powerful that was for you, because you were like on a high from that. Then use that energy and push it forward for whatever you're going to be coming up against in the near future. Use your past successes for your future wins.
Yeah. That's how people build real confidence. To me, real confidence is based on competence and a record of achievement and results, whatever that means to you. I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, right. There's the rare breed of people in this world that have confidence regardless of any foundation, and maybe just the foundation is based on their trust in themselves, that they can figure things out along the way, and that's fine. But most of us have our confidence comes directly from our feeling of competence. And if you don't have the competence yet, then you're not going to naturally feel the confidence, and you can try to boost your confidence as much as you want by focusing on that, but that's not the problem. The problem is the competence. So like we get back to like scripting, or how do I be more confident in listing presentations? It's you focus on getting better. Get better at your scripts, get better at your knowledge of the area, get better at marketing properties so they actually sell. Stop taking listings that are overpriced so that they actually sell, and then you'll find your confidence in listing presentations goes up dramatically because your competence has gone up, right? So that's one of the instances where I think confidence, you can focus on the underlying skill set and take care of a lot of your confidence problems. Good Lord, there's like a gnat attacking me. For the love of all that's good and holy.
That's just me. I'm channeling my attitude, into the gnat. Just go bug the shit out of Matt really quickly. So he's on camera.
All right. So Greg, I mean, let's talk about mindset a little bit as far as like short-term versus long-term. So I mean, you are, and I call you the junior grandmaster because you call your dad the grandmaster, the T Diddy Terry.
Big T.
So is that something that you learned from him? Because I definitely got a scarcity mindset from my parents and have had to work through that as I've become more successful and gotten around more successful people. I've had to focus actively on not allowing myself to make decisions or act out of that scarcity mindset that tends to come a little bit more naturally for me. But what'd you get from your parents?
Good genes.
Okay.
So what I got, actually, my parents are incredibly loving and supportive. I mean, my dad is, so supportive of this podcast and our new podcast, and he's like actively, trying to help us, get speaking engagements, of lining up rooms. So he's one of the most supportive individuals on planet Earth. That's where I've gotten, me being supportive of other people. When it comes to the mindset, my mindset has been basically, I was very apathetic in everything in life except for drinking when I was younger. I mean, I loved my drinking. And so I was good at it. And that was ultimately a downfall for me. And I had to go through that to go do a downfall. And then I had to learn how to claw my way back up. And so my mindset is something I worked on every single day. I would sit and listen to hours of positive motivational stuff on YouTube while I'm doing work. Allow that to soak into my DNA, so that I would hear the words every time I was having a problem, something that was knocking me down, hurting me. I felt like someone was belittling me, because they always used to say, well, you're just Terry's kid. Dude, that sucks, man. And so I had to go out and make a name for myself. And so that's what I did. I'm like, okay, so either I'm going to do something where people are going to start coming to me because I have a source of information, which means I need to buckle down and put the hours in, the 10,000 hours of mastery into a subject matter that I like, and then start being able to give back to the universe. Therefore, when I start giving back and people start changing for the betterment of society and themselves, then they will go and they say, Greg, thank you so much for all your help. Then I hear that enough. And that's one of the things I love about this podcast. I love watching people change, but I also do it a little bit on the selfish side because it helps me grow as a human being. And I thank you guys for doing that, because the more I hear that I'm able to do something nice, the more I'm going to go out there and going to research things that are going to bring value to you. And so if you're having a hard time being positive, being optimistic, being long-term thinking, write your effing goals down about what you want. Here's a fun little game to play. Now, it's going to be something that you're going to need to definitely, your spouse, significant other, friends, family are going to think you're a little bit crazy. But congratulations, Matt. You are the inventor of oxygen. You make money every time someone breathes. And there's 7 billion people on the planet. So you can imagine the numbers there. You are very wealthy. This is the game, 7 and 7. You need to find 7 modes of transportation and 7 locations of a property. Now, guys, it has to be it has to be crazy town big. It can't be like, oh, I want a bicycle. Oh, I want a new Toyota. No. You've got to be like, you know what? Like I did, Matt, I want a fleet of jets, a whole fleet. I want down from a small little commuter jet all the way up to a 777 jet, all customized with paint colors and interiors. Because you got to take the right jet to the right place, right? You don't take a 777 jet down to LA. No, you take the G7 naturally. Things like that. But you think outside the box. Therefore, your unconscious mind starts getting into a place where those things, you're no longer in a place of what's the word I'm looking for? Sacrifice, having nothing.
Scarcity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're no longer a mindset of scarcity. You're in a mindset of abundance. That will radically change the way you view the world. And besides, it's a lot of fun to play, guys, because you can start dreaming. And once that subconscious likes what that dream is, it's going to start manifesting things into your life to make those things a reality. So that's the one thing I would say. I mean, Matt and I, when we first started this, I said, Matt, we're going to get 750 followers by this date. And we beat that date, and that made Matt's jaw drop. And I'm like, told you we could do it. And we beat it like by 4 months or something. I mean, it was a big beat.
Yeah.
And then we're like, wonder if we can get here. Boom, we beat that. And by the way, we're at 2,776 followers right now on YouTube. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
And so never, ever, 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 ever let someone beat you down. If they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day. Doesn't mean it needs to translate over to you. So your scarcity mindset could be like Matt learned it from, his growing up environment and experiences. That's in the past.
Yeah.
It's not the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it does not lock you in. You can change your mindset, and it's funny because I had a similar experience, which we haven't really talked about. And I don't mean like an experience in a singular sense, like something happened to me. I just mean like when I was, what was it? I want to say like 18. There was a guy that was going to the church that we were going to at the time, and I was super focused on like getting ready, like going through, their version of Bible college and stuff like that, and looking to be like a missionary or a pastor or something like that. So my focus wasn't necessarily on business. Well, it wasn't on business at all, but I did want to be successful and always read books of that nature. But somebody gave me a seminar cassette tape set. Cassette tapes.
Wow, that's dating you.
That's right. So they gave me a set of cassette tapes that was a recording of a seminar by a guy named Peter Daniels. And Peter Daniels is a super interesting guy. Go look him up. He's got 5 or 6 books that are mostly written in the late 70s and 80s, and he's a super interesting guy. But set that aside for a second. Essentially what happened was I got a hold of this seminar that was on success, and just great principles. He came up in real estate. He was a salesperson, Christian guy, never worked on Sundays, carried his Bible around, literally only worked 5 to 6 days a week so he could spend the other days with his family and in church and all that stuff. And this was in like the 70s when it was unheard of to not work 7 days a week in real estate. So that I would set those tapes on repeat. I mean, I literally to this day I can hear his voice in my head, and I can repeat some of the phrases, and just I'll find myself either saying something or I'll find that voice in my head. I also listen to a lot of Zig Ziglar on repeat, just to film because it was so different from the other stuff that I was used to hearing, like coming up from a religious background, where for me, anybody that was wealthy was not that there was anything necessarily wrong with them, but that they weren't putting their priorities were out of whack, right? They weren't focusing enough on the spiritual end, and therefore they were succeeding in the business realm because they were neglecting their family, their spiritual lives, and all this stuff. I don't believe that anymore. I think you can provide a lot of value to a lot of people, and you can still have your priorities in balance. You can still maintain a great relationship with God, a great relationship with your family, and all that stuff, and still provide a lot of value to the world. But back then, I did not think that way, and this really opened up my eyes, and so I had a lot of work to do on my mindset and having that abundance mindset. And we both had that experience of just latching onto something and just put it on repeat. When I got into real estate, I got a hold of a coaching program, and he had like a listing consultation. He went through all the questions. There was a lot of recorded role play. I repeat. I played those CDs all the time, because when you're dealing with mindset stuff, it's subconscious. You have to attack the subconscious with repetition.
Yeah, you 100% do. I mean, one of the things I went on and I found out about Les Brown. Dude, if you guys have not listened to Les Brown, go listen to Les. Here's one of my favorite sayings. He says, if you're going to get knocked down, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I was just like, oh, I love you. Eric Thomas, another AKA known as the hip hop preacher, Tony Robbins. Tony's everybody knows Tony. At least, God, I hope you do. If you don't, what fucking rock have you been under? Eric Thomas, a guy lived in black gentleman, grew up in Detroit on the streets, was in the gangs, was gonna basically a bunch of his buddies died, and he decided to educate himself. It took him an epically long time, like 14 years to get a 4-year degree, but he got it. That's crazy. I mean, but he's so powerful. I mean, Les Brown and Eric Thomas, and Zig Ziglar and all these motivational guys. Did you guys know Will Smith, Jim Carrey? They're not just funny guys. They're incredibly intelligent. Go listen to Will Smith talk about how, and this changed my life. He says, if you have to just decide that you're going to do something, and then the universe is just going to get out of your way. And so I made a decision on something. I literally just I'm like, this is happening. End of story. It's already done. Boom, done. Showed up in my life 2 weeks later. It had no way of ever making this thing happen. And I literally just decided it. And I learned all this stuff from these incredible smart men.
I said, and you're welcome, Greg.
Zing! That was good.
I'm here.
What are your other 2 wishes?
That's right. Exactly.
Also, guys, Jim Carrey has a tremendously powerful commencement speech that he did, I think last year or the year before. And he talks about the fact that his father could have been a really good comedian, but he decided to take a safe job. Well, next year he's released from that safe job. So if you're gonna die anyways, why not chase your dreams and go for what you truly want to be? Because at the end, you all end up in a box, anyways. Yeah. And people so often hold themselves short. That's why we talk about the BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goals that you need to write. I mean, all mine is I have it written in red lipstick in my shower, right below my shower head, and it says, Greg McDaniel's net worth is $650 million with more than $100 million in liquid cash at all times. All right? That's a big fucking number. And how am I going to get there? I don't know. I also told myself, guys, that I was going to have an incredibly impactful podcast that was going to educate, entertain, and educate,
Inspire.
entertain, inspire. Yeah, thank you. God Lord. tens of millions of people on a weekly basis. Now, we're not quite there yet, but we are educating, entertaining, and inspiring you guys to go out and change your lives. So my visions are starting to come true. You know, the trip back to New York, we keep referencing, it's going to change something that there's no way I could have done before because I wrote it down. It's a dream. It's a big goal. It's a driving force behind what I do.
Well, and this goes back to mindset, and I wanted to touch on this too because we mentioned it in the podcast interview we were doing before this. It came up, which is the idea that, Greg, when you set out your goals, something happens, whether you want to call it the universe or God or fate or whatever. But to me, it's the way the world works. It's natural, universal laws and universal principles. You reap what you sow. The thing is, and this is what trips people up, is they want direct. If I put out this effort into X, I get a result back from X. And the problem is it just doesn't seem to work that way, especially the higher up you get into the realms of success and the more you get around successful people, you start realizing that the money is in the relationships. The more relationships, the better quality the relationships, the more money you make. But it doesn't come directly. It's not always direct. And that's what people want. And this is, they get caught up in the short-term thinking and they say, okay, well, if I'm going to, I hate expending effort. If I'm going to expend effort, I need to be guaranteed a reward. So if I'm going, and Adam Carolla gave a great example. He tried to hook his buddy up with co-hosting a podcast with him. This is right in our wheelhouse. He took one of his deadbeat buddies that works construction, who knows a lot about construction remodeling, and he offered to bring him into a podcast for that industry. The guy says, well, great, pay me $100 a podcast. He's like, no, you don't understand. We have no sponsors. But in a few months, when we have thousands of dollars in sponsorships coming in, I will split it with you. He could not get the guy to take the deal. He would only do it. I kid you not. He called so he finally said, "Okay, fine, I'll do it for free for now." And then he turned behind Adam's back. He went and called up Adam Carolla's money manager and said, "I need $100 a week for the podcast."
What an ass, dude. I mean, dude.
That is what an unsuccessful person does. I expend an hour of work. I expect an immediate reward.
Well, that's the wage mentality. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm worth X amount of dollars an hour. Matt and I, I need this to justify any kind of thing I'm going to do in my life. Matt and I, when we got into the podcast, dude, are you shitting me? It costs us thousands and thousands of dollars to do this show. I mean, thousands of dollars to do this show. And then Matt and I are like, we go and do it. We're like, you know what? We know we'll make money in it somehow, sometime. We don't really care when that happens because I have so much fun doing it. And in that giving mindset, dude, I've been able to meet with dozens and dozens and dozens of you amazing human beings that take the McDaniel challenge. And I get to, you guys are changing me, I'm changing you. And you know what? We have now come up with a way to monetize the show. But yet at the exact same time, we're going to give so much massive value back to you guys. It's going to be like a rocket ship taking off with extra boosters. It's going to be awesome. And you know what? And if that day had never come, or if it never does come, I mean, who knows if this thing's going to work or not? I think it will. But I mean, Matt and I aren't going anywhere. We're gonna be here. We're like cockroaches. We don't die.
That's right. Yeah, I told somebody that the other day. Everybody else may get out of the real estate podcasting game for various reasons. They're busy. They're not getting enough money out of it, especially the people that are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. We're
in it because we just genuinely enjoy not just helping people, but we literally just genuinely enjoy you and me getting on a call and talking real estate. And that's what it has to be. So, and Chris Angel talks a lot about this, that you can't build a business on something that you hate to do. Our entire business, like everything that you and I do together, is based on the fundamental you and I enjoy getting on a Google Hangout and looking each other in the eye and talking about whatever we feel like talking about. And that's why we'll be here 5 years from now. So the lesson to take away for anybody that's watching this is not to jump into podcasting.
No.
Although if you want to, I can help with that. But the lesson here is that figure out what that is for you. And if it's podcasting, great. But if it's not, if it's blogging, if it's in-person networking, if it's picking up the phone and just starting relationships off that way and building relationships over the phone, if you're good at that and you enjoy that, great. But find whatever it is that you do enjoy and will work to build your business and just double down on that. I mean, double, triple, quadruple down on it. I mean, that's what we did. We had a choice. This is October of last year. We were doing one of these a week. It was going well. But Greg, you're like, no, I want to get to 700 subscribers. And I'm like, okay, well then we need to up the frequency. So we tried doing like a shorter half-hour version of the show a couple more times a week, and we were physically unable to do a show for less than an hour.
We tried so hard, though.
So finally, I resigned and just said, fine, we're doing 3 days a week. It's a normal, like, let's just do the full thing, a full hour version, 3 days a week. That's when we started to take off. That and the McDaniel Challenge, those two things combined is what really, like took the show off. But we essentially decided, okay, rather than doing once a week show and then trying to do all this social media and email stuff, we just doubled down on what we do best, which is get on camera and talk real estate. And you can do the same thing in your business. So if it's in-person events, do more events. If you love working your database and you want to build up your referrals, and I love working by referrals, they're amazing. I would rather do that than any type of cold prospecting. Oh. If you're the same way, double down on the things that generate referrals. There are things you can do. Talk to more people, build more relationships, but just double down on whatever that is.
Well, go get the book, guys, called Never Eat Alone. Read the damn book. You'll never eat alone. Problem solved, Matt. We're out.
That's right.
Oh, you guys have got.
What about coffee? Can I have coffee alone?
Okay, you can bring coffee. Okay, you can have coffee.
Okay.
Guys, don't forget, subscribe and follow me on Facebook. I hit 5,000 again. I keep like losing a couple of people here and there because I'm probably offending the shit out of them. But that's
sorry, Greg. I defriended you. I blocked you.
You motherfucker.
That's right.
God, our friendship is so tenuous.
That's
Maybe
right.
It's hit and miss.
Hit and miss.
Is he gonna like me today or not? I'm not sure. But subscribe, follow me, guys, on Facebook. I just hit a little over 1,000 people today. Super pumped on that. You guys can see when I go Facebook Live, I'm gonna go Facebook Live in the lead gen scripts and objections page today.
If you're not already a member of that, just go immediately and go join that group, lead gen scripts and objections on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys and gals, very upbeat, very uplifting, intelligent community out there. Aaron Wittenstein, who's our buddy, he is engaging like nobody's business on that site, and he does starting to do live gen lead prospecting calls. So he's going to do it in the morning. I'm going to do them in the afternoon for most of the days. So you guys are going to get a little bit of taste of each one of us, but you'll see how he's working, expireds. I'm doing, callbacks from, past people that have called in, also doing some circle prospecting. So you see different styles of the calls. And then Matt, we should do shout outs. I got a pretty good chunk of shout outs here in the last couple of minutes. Don't you think?
Yeah, let's do it. And then maybe we'll finish off with a question.
Yeah. Okay. So, Lori from YouTube, she's astounded at the lack of training in this business, and she almost got out of it, but she loves our stuff and she's sticking with it. So Lori, thank you very much. Sean from YouTube loves the show, and he just gets a tremendous amount of value out of it. So dude, much love to you, Sean. Sharon from Cape Town, South Africa, dude. From Cape Town, South Africa. She sent me a Facebook message about scripts for sellers, so I shot her back a script for sellers. But how freaking cool is that? Cape Town, South Africa, man. Bonnie, one of my graduates from the MCC, McDaniel Challenge, Facebook messaged me what to do when prospecting in the early hours of the morning. And so if you guys can't see Matt, he's like staring at another computer with his eyes like wide, bugging out, like he can't believe what he's reading. And so I've given her a couple of good ideas versus Facebook Messenger. That's why I say Facebook, follow me, guys. Then you can send me messages. I get back to you really, really quickly with either video or audio. Let's see here. Ray, McDaniel Challenge. He's in the medical field, dude. Ray is he's doing, I don't know what he's doing, but he's wearing some sort of like a med suit, like to keep all the nasties off of him in the medical field. You can imagine what that is. But bro, he puts us in his ears, and he goes around and does all of his cleanup of medical stuff, listening to us in his ears, because he's gonna be getting into the field. So super cool. Big shout out to the Big T Diddy, my dad, the one and only. He was on the panel of top producers yesterday and just knocked it out of the park. JC, we got him on the McDaniel Challenge on August 15th. Love you, bro. Can't wait to have you on. Matthew Rodriguez watches us. Oh yeah, Matt, you're gonna get a kick out of this, dude. So Matthew watches us while he is in the shower. Loves the show, and we are fucking brilliant together on the show. That's awesome.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm watching the shower. I'm like,
I think that's a compliment. Yeah, exactly. All right. So for my shout outs, once again, viral marketing, go to gregsmarketingexamples.com. And Greg's got a little video where he explains exactly what they do for him. So they manage his East Bay real estate video blog, but it's way, way more than that. It's a whole system that they run to help him get referrals and repeat business from his database. So check them out. And then homing in, it is available Android, iTunes, like for Apple devices, like all apps are, but then they also have a web version. So just go download the app, see if there are seller leads waiting for you, because there may be homeowners that have requested home valuations in your area, and there may not be sellers, like agents that have downloaded that have even responded to those sellers yet. So there may be free leads waiting for you there. So homing in, go check that out. So let's finish off with a question from the lead gen scripts and objections group. So this is Ann Diaz-Mendez. And she says, do most of you prospect from a home office or your real estate office, and what's your schedule like? So, Greg, I know you can prospect from either, but what's your preference?
My personal preference, I'm blessed. I have the ability. I have a private office, as you guys can see behind me, because I have a very loud voice. If you haven't noticed that yet,
what? I don't believe that for a second.
That's so weird.
I know you should violate you.
If I was in a cubicle, I would probably do it in a conference room, or I'd do it from my home. But I do it here at my office. I like to be here. We brew Pete's coffee. I get to have my overly large cup of coffee with me at all times. It's just kind of like, this is where I feel good about doing my prospecting. If I'm at my home, my two furry bastards are gonna try to like harass the shit out of me, and I won't be able to concentrate. Don't say a word.
Cats are so annoying.
Ugh, dogs that pee on your floor and you have to put pee mats down, that's annoying. I just have a little shit box for them. But you know what? It's where you don't shake your head at me. I would say, wherever you're most comfortable, and work off a routine that's going to be conducive for you and your clientele. So I don't start prospecting until about 10. Therefore, I give people enough time to kind of get their whole day going, and then I start talking to them, and I have a hard stop at 5 o'clock. So, like, I'm going to do 30 minutes or 40 minutes of outbound prospecting today on Facebook at 4:30 Pacific Standard, and then I'm going to move directly into some knowledge-based conversation. We're going to do a Q&A session, so I'm not outbounding anymore. So that's my style. That's just kind of what I do, but you guys do whatever you want.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not that I can speak to the cold call prospecting angle, but just working and kind of separating your mental space. I mean, I work from home, and I've gone into the office, and yes.
Wow. I know.
That's what that so is. Much like an office. I know there's this. I'm surrounded by cubicles, but please look past those. That's actually my place. But yeah, I mean, I've done both. I've worked, when I first moved to San Diego, I did go into an office, full time. Back when I was working for Viral Marketing, we shared an office. It was just me and the CEO and the VP, and that was okay. Like me and three of us in a large office together was fine. Once it got to like 5 people, I started working from home 90% of the time, and I've worked from home ever since. I get out. And that's part of why I go to Starbucks a couple times a week, is just to get out of the house, because I get cabin fever a little bit. But within my place, like I have this dedicated, this is my stand-up desk right here. This is my dedicated kind of workspace, and then I'll work from the couch. Like, you have to separate out your sleeping space from your workspace. Like psychologically, don't work where you sleep. It messes with your brain. So if you do work from home, like set yourself up a little space somewhere, even if it's not technically a home office, if you don't have a separate room, but set yourself up like a space where when you're in that space, you're doing nothing but work, and then when you're outside the space, you mostly don't work. So that will help you kind of psychologically when you're working from home.
Yeah, that actually, I actually did that. I had an office, I had a big old desk right next to my bed in Santa Barbara, where I lived and worked, and had a little tiny window, so it was kind of dark in there, and I worked from that, and it fucking sucked, dude. I mean, I could not. It's like I could never.
You feel like you never stop working.
Never stop working. And if there's webcams involved and you're practicing the baby making, there's always going to be wondering if that camera's on. And I'm pretty sure that's why most people don't have that, right? Oh, that one came in my mind, and I couldn't not say it.
Oh. I've had that conversation. Let's just put it that way.
I know, but I was going to let you say that.
That's hilarious. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. There will be absolutely zero elaboration from me. But yes, May want to relax on having the webcams in the bedroom. So, okay. So Greg's marketing examples, check that out. The McDaniel Challenge. Greg, you want to refresh people's memory and give your phone number real quick?
Absolutely. My guys, McDaniel Challenge is when you get to come out, hang out with moi for an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on what your day is going to look like, and we're going to help you
on the phone, not come out on the phone.
No, on the phone. We're going to help you unfuck yourself and get out of your own damn way. So if you guys are mentally, emotionally, psychologically just in your own damn way, I'm going to help you work through it. Now, I'm not saying I know everything, but I have been in this business long enough that I can identify different triggers and then maybe give some ideas for you to push through those blockages. So you know what, guys, get on the phone. We're going to have a couple of beers together. We're going to have some laughs together. There's no financial investment. Okay. It is free. And you know what? There's no format to it. It's us just rapping, hanging out. You're going to call me on my personal private cell phone. It's 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. If you are in the bathroom and taking a shower and you cannot write that down, please go to McDanielChallenge.com. # do not let Greg spend a night alone. Matt, I want to share something with you. Nick Jackson, I did a call. He was on the backup list for the McDaniel Challenge because my guys have canceled on me all week this week. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I know. I feel very, very, very lonely. I almost called you. Thank God Nick stepped in. But he just posted this.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. And I've just seen your Facebook post.
Yeah, I was going to read. Thank you. Two of the most entertaining podcast hosts ever. Very insightful and hilarious content. Even if you're not in real estate, go check out these guys. Dude, that goes onto the timeline. Thank you, Nick. That is awesome.
Really appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Thank you for spreading the word and posting that. And yeah, just to refresh everybody, in case you haven't noticed, like you don't see ads from Real Estate Uncensored. We're not out there email list building. We're not blasting a bunch of people. Basically, the show grows because you guys like what you hear and you talk to Greg on the McDaniel Challenge or whatever, and then you tell people about it. Right. That's how people find the show. Either that or YouTube. They're finding us that way too. So either way, like you guys are helping people find the show. Both by watching us on YouTube and by telling your friends in the business about us, and we can't say thank you enough. I mean, that's right. How the show has grown and it's created some incredible opportunities, and now we're building something really, really cool. We're partnering up with Aaron Wittenstein, and there's more to come on that. But because of what you guys have done with helping to spread the word about the show, we can potentially build something really, really cool that helps thousands upon thousands of people. Mm-hmm. And we would have never had that opportunity if it wasn't for you guys telling other people about the show. I mean, it's just incredible.
And you know what? When we say we love you, we truly do. We truly value you. This is this is not a dictatorship. This is run by you guys. You guys reach out to us. All of you guys that reach out to talk to us I talk to several of you guys on a daily basis multiple times. Like I just had Mike just hit me up on a Facebook right now asking me a question about a company here in the area, which I helped grow this other company. So I do have an opinion on it. So, but I mean, the guys reach out to me, even if we haven't done the MCC. Oh shit! I gotta tell you guys when you can take the McDaniel Challenge, Matt. How irresponsible of me.
I think it's let's just call it mid-August.
Let's try August 16th.
No, there you go. Right there.
August 16th, guys, please get off the fucking fence, please, and come over and hang out with me. Call me, text me, Facebook message me. Don't Instagram me. I probably won't know what to do with it. But you can Instagram. I actually am pretty good with it. And I'm on Snapchat. My Snapchat is REU444. So snap with me, playa.
That's right. And for me, so everything is Pursuing Results. Go look me up on Facebook, Instagram, and follow on Snapchat. Everything is Pursuing Results. If you are looking to, if you want to use a podcast to grow your referral network, so I don't talk about this enough, and I really need to do a better job. But basically, what I do, my regular business, in addition to all the consulting and all the stuff that me and Greg do, and the stuff that I do at Jeff Cohn, my business is helping people produce podcasts. And so, if you want to do something like that to build your referral network and interview other successful business owners in your area that can then send you business, I can help you with that. Just reach out to me at matt@pursuingresults.com, and you can also find out more information about how to do that and a quick and dirty way to kind of get started with podcasting at pursuingresults.com. So
yeah,
That is all for
And that's a
now.
show.
Let me see. We've got some big interviews coming up. We've got a ridiculously big one on Friday. We're interviewing Brad Inman, as in Inman News. So he's got his own podcast, and of course he's the founder of that phenomenal website and organization, and they put on events and all that stuff. We're going to talk to him. Aaron Wittenstein is going to join us for the first 10 or 15 minutes and answer a couple questions from his Facebook group. So that's going to be a kick butt show. And then Monday we've got Jason Hartman. If anybody is familiar with him, he is like one of the top. He was one of the top Remax guys in the world at like 24 years of age. Went on to become an extremely successful agent and an investor. Has a self-driving Tesla, so maybe we'll ask him about that.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna. Yeah, self-driving Tesla.
We are so asking him about that.
Yes. So that's on Monday. So we've got a couple of big interviews coming up. We've got Aaron Wittenstein is joining us next Friday for the whole episode. And so he's actually on for the next couple Fridays. That's awesome. So, yeah, we've got some good guests coming up, guys. All right, so with that said, we will let you go for this weekend. That's it for us. We'll see you guys on Friday morning at 11.
Yeah, guys, we love you. We will see you then.